Yeah, what I want to talk to you about is how to be able to is how to be able is how to learn to draw creativity. This is about learning how to come up with a creative idea on your own. Now, what I'm going to talk to you guys about is a method of thinking that should help you be better able to come up with a good idea. Like, for example, if you're learning how to draw, what if you're thinking of overall the of the design of the of something? Like, let's just imagine it's a battleship, okay? And this is what you need to do: is you need to think of a storyline, because if you think of a storyline, it gives you a better idea to be able to envision specifically what overall your goal is, instead of being like some of those people who might just simply say, yeah, I'm just going to create a sci-fi thing. But what exactly are you going to do it? They might eventually come up with the idea, but they've just wasted a huge portion of time. So in general, like I've said before, the best thing to do is to try to focus on how can you improve yourself, is how can you improve your thing. Like, if I'm thinking of maybe a battleship, like I said before about a battleship, how exactly do I come up with, do what situation is it okay, is it a battleship, uh like, which type of battleship is it a modern one or is it an old one? But for this situation, I'm just gonna imagine it's a modern battleship, okay, that goes around sailing on water. If I imagine a battleship, a modern day battleship, I might think, if it's sailing on water, it might need some windproof features. Okay, it might need a rotary gun, because it might because of course it's for war. Somebody might get killed. You might have to kill somebody, or because they're trying to kill you. And even for those things, okay, uh, you might imagine those things, but but to be more descriptive, you know, how exactly is it gonna look? Okay, for which type of exact situation is it gonna look like? Which I'm trying to say is, which type of windproof design are you gonna use? Okay, um, which type of fireproof design are you going to use? Because I don't think I mentioned that. But yeah, the fireproof design, because of course if it's on in the sea and it's shooting, if it's on water, I should have said, and you're shooting something at it, it could create a fire. And if it creates a fire, someone could possibly burn to death. So you might need some fireproof. But which type would you need, to be honest with you? A fireproof design. You might think of one type of fireproof design. And for the rotary gun, which type would you want? Would you want one that shoots effectively, at a far distance, or one that is just more of a machine gun type? Like, try to think of an interesting storyline that you can apply all of these sorts of ideas, and it doesn't just have to apply to a battleship. It can apply to many different sort of situations.
Excuse me.
So yeah, as I was saying, try to think of an exact storyline, and try to think of an interesting storyline, and try to think of how those how it could look according to, think of an exact storyline. That's my overall message for this first part of it. I got caught up just now. uh for this first part, uh try to think of overall the story, an interesting story, you might think of, and try to think of how the shapes and all that sort of stuff might apply to it for anything, each design for the actual object. Uh, you know, Now for this situation, try to think of the amount of categories that might go well with that might go well with yeah, it's a busy day. Like, yeah, try to think of the categories of the designs that might go well with the with the design of it of it, like let's just imagine, because if you remember art, understand art, you'll probably memorize different designs you might think of that might overall make a cool looking design, like maybe like and for this situation it's more like paintings and stuff like that, like stuff on it that makes it look good. um like you might, for example, it might be a car design, like something that has like a dragon or a vase, that might just have simply beautiful looking pictures on it. You don't, try to think of it in that fashion, okay? And when you think of it in that fashion, try, once you can collect a huge amount of different ideas and put it all together, you might add, think back to the original story. Okay, like let's just like for that battleship I was talking about earlier, it was actually a battleship that was supposed to go through a river, like the Amazon River is supposed to go through a forest. So back to the original storyline I was coming up with, uh, it had a good, it, of course, being through a forest, it doesn't want to be seen. Like, probably not really the most accurate of things, but let's just have an imagination for a second. But of course, it would be better, if anything, to not have some form of camouflage. So you can probably think of a camouflage pattern, so it goes back to the original thing. So it goes back to the original story and how the designs of the colors that you're drawing on it, like a camouflage design, might fit well. Would I have something, if I'm going through a forest, river, would I have something that might have a brown design on it for the camouflage? I don't really think so. I don't think there's much brown in Amazon at all. So once you can come up with a unique story, just try to focus on how to design, the two-dimensional beauty looking designs fit well with it. And once you focus on the two-dimensional, once you focus on that, you can also, and there is no really set, well, yeah, there is, but, and also take into account how well does it fit well. If I'm drawing on the side of a car, how well do the designs fit well? Because I don't want it to overlap. I don't want to maybe draw designs that overlap off the side of the car that make it look bad. So that's something that you're going to have to look at if you want to be able to draw more effectively and have creative ideas for when you're drawing. And that's my video, and subscribe if you want to watch more videos. I'll have more videos coming up. Yeah, this has really been a busy day. Like, and once you focus on coming up with interesting story, and I'll continue on with this series later on, and that's all I have to say.